Now let's use our idea of markets and market equilibrium to try to analyze how some real-world phenomenon might be affecting the market for ice cream. Thousands of honeybee colonies have vanished. Roughly a third of the U.S. food supply, including a lot of fruits and vegetables, depend on pollination from bees. In fact, the decline in honeybees threatens $15 billion worth of crops in the United States. This decrease in pollination has decreased the supply of strawberries, raspberries, almonds, leading to higher prices for the ingredients for ice cream. How is this going to affect the ice cream market? Well, if you have an increase in the prices of inputs to the production process, the supply curve shifts to the left, or decreases. When this happens, we go from one equilibrium to another. So we can see in the ice cream market, when honeybee hive populations have decreased, the decrease in supply is going to drive prices up and quantities down. So what might seem like an innocuous change in the world really can affect markets in a very real way. Here we've got a change in honeybee populations affecting the price and the quantity in the ice cream market. Now another way we do this is to try to work backwards from what we see in the market to what must have caused that change. And we've got four different possible changes in a market. We can have an increase in demand, a decrease in demand, an increase in supply, or a decrease in supply. And we can look at what we would expect to see in the market under any of those changes. Suppose we had an increase in demand. As we've shown, what we would expect is an increase in prices and an increase in quantities. If you have a decrease in demand, you'd expect to see a decrease in price and a decrease in quantity in that market. Increase in supply decreases price but increases quantity. And the decrease in supply will increase price and decrease quantity. So if we look back at the ice cream market, what we ended up seeing was an increase in price and a decrease in quantity that must have been the result of a decrease in the supply of ice cream. So even without knowing what might have caused the change, what we can say, once we observe that prices have gone up and quantities have gone down, we can say that something must have decreased the supply in that market. You want to be very comfortable with all of the effects of changes in demand and supply so that you can both work forward from looking at a shock to a market and seeing what the impact is going to be on price and quantity, but you would also like to be able to work backwards, sort of like a detective, and try to figure out what happened to the market that resulted in a change that you might observe.